Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you briefly how I graft two pieces of iCord together. Now in advance I apologise for my somewhat croaky voice. Annoyingly I'm suffering from tonsillitis this week, which is incredibly frustrating because I got lots I wanted to film. However, I did promise I would film this ages ago and I completely forgot. So if I don't do it now, it will just go out of my head completely again. So in my iCord video, I showed you a few ideas and how to use the knitting mill. And a question that I got asked a lot in the comments section was, how do you join one section of iCord to another section of iCord? So you've got one continuous piece, especially when using scrap yarns. So for passing the different yarns through the knitting mill, you can use the magic knot, and I found that that didn't give me any problems whatsoever joining new yarns before they get passed into iCord machine. That wasn't a problem. But obviously you can't keep going forever. The ball of yarn gets far too big after a while, so you've got to cut and join another. So this is how you graft two sections of iCord together. Now, I don't know if this is the correct way to do it. This is just how I have sort of fudged it together. So this is potentially completely incorrect information, but this is just how I grafted my iCords together. If you know a better way, please do shout in the comments. I would love to know. So when you look at your iCord, you will see, let me move this one out of the way a second. You will see on this light grey section that it is made up of little V's all the way around. Now these little V's are what we are going to be aiming for when we're grafting them together. You should have sort of 4, I think, coming off the knitting mill, little V sections, because we're going to be sewing the loops to each little V as we go round. So this is the end of the iCord as it comes out of the machine. From this point here, I've trimmed the end because we don't really need that. So this is just how it forms when it first comes out of the machine. At the other end, when it comes off the machine, you're left with 4 little knitted loops. So as you keep clacking around, as you run out of yarn, it will just slowly drop off the little sort of latch hooks. And then when it comes out the other side, you have these 4 loops here, and your yarn obviously is fed through one of them. So it's these 4 loops that we are going to attempt to graft to the bottom of this grey iCord section. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to be a bit rough and ready. With yours, feel free to take a little bit more care and to properly hunt for your sort of little V's right down at the bottom here. Obviously mine, unfortunately, are dark grey, so I'm not sure you can really see. So I might actually aim for a little higher up so you can actually see what I'm doing, but we'll make it up as we go along. It'll be fine. So with the fresh bit of iCord that has come from my machine and that I want to now attach to this to make one continuous length, grab yourself a large eye needle and thread this tail of this sort of pinky red one onto your needle. Now be a little bit careful because obviously this is part of the loops. So what I do is I come through from sort of the inner section of the cord through that first loop. So I'm just picking up that loop that this yarn comes from, and I'm going to pull it through that. Now be a little bit careful, you don't want to lose your other loops at the same time. So I'm not being too rough, I'm just carefully bringing it through the center of that loop. Now I'm going to find the corresponding little V section on my iCord. Now ideally you want to be going down here. I've got one there, but I'm going to go for the next row up, so mine might be a little bit bumpy, and I'm just putting my needle underneath the sort of 2 V's of this first section on the iCord, and I'm just going to pull the yarn through. And then I'm going to come back into the loop I just came through. So you can see it forms, I'm being quite exaggerated here, it forms like another loop. So I'm going to pull that a little bit tighter. Then I'm going to go into As I say, you take a little bit more care than I am. I'm going to go into this next loop, pull my yarn through, and find the next little V section, pull my yarn through, and then I'm going to go back into that same loop. Hopefully the camera is, don't focus over there, focus here. Go back into that same loop that I passed my yarn through. So I've come through the iCord and I'm coming back. So as I said, be a little bit neater than me, but you can see that's the loop we're pulling up and this is the loop we're forming with this tail end as we go round. So again, rotate it round. Oh, I'm slowly losing my loops. Pick up the next loop here of my 4, just coming through the center of it. And again, through the V's on the iCord. And then pass it back through that same loop to create a new loop. So you can see, if you were being a little bit more careful than I am, how it's quite exaggerated, 2 different yarn types, 2 different colors, but I'm maintaining the loops sort of going up. And then with this final one, pick up that loop and kind of tuck that little, just going to tuck this tail into the center of this pinky red one, just so it's out of the way. Come through and go through these final little V section. Don't know if I'm really catching, but oh, I'll go to this higher one. Oh, mine's such a mess. Hopefully this gives you the idea, and then back into that loop. To form a new loop. So as you can see, mine is an absolute dog's dinner of a join. But hopefully this gives you the idea of, you go a little bit more slowly, marry up your V's nicely. I've got a slight bulge there, but I mean, for the purposes of this tutorial, hopefully it shows you how you're just sort of grafting it on. And then with this tail, it's still attached to my needle. Once I'm happy it's secure, I can then thread it down through the body of this iCord down here. So as I say, I don't know if this is the correct way. This is just how I sort of fudged it. I was just marrying up loops to get a sort of continuous join. You can hide this tail. I've hidden the grey tail in the body of the tube as well. And that is how I grafted mine together for my blanket. This blanket here. So hang on, let me see if I can find one of these joins. So here you go. You can sort of see here, I did the sort of grafting together. I think we can find some more little sections in here somewhere where my yarn changes colour. Here's another one that I sort of grafted together. So when it's worked up, you don't see the sort of join, and obviously I was a bit more careful with this one than I have been here, but there you go, it's nice and secure. I'm really tugging on that. It won't come undone, and this is just how I personally grafted my bits of iCord together. And as I say, if you know a better way, please do shout, let me know in the comments if there is a better way to graft the iCord together, because obviously this is a new toy to me, and I'm certainly no knitting mill expert. I've just been playing with all my scrap yarns, but I hope that answers the question of how I joined my bits of iCord together to be able to crochet into a much larger project and join all my different scraps. So I hope you've all been enjoying playing with your knitting mills, and if you have asked me a question and I have said I'll do a video for it, and you don't see that video appearing, please do give me a poke, because I have the memory of a goldfish sometimes, and I regularly forget that I say I'm going to have done something. So don't feel like you're hassling me if after a few weeks there's sort of no appearance of a video. Just give me a little gentle prod, and and I can get these things done for you guys. So I hope that helps, and I hope you've all been enjoying playing with your machines, and happy iCord grafting. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.